Good day. So, if you are someone who celebrates the feast days, Yah's high holy days, and do not celebrate pagan holidays like the worldly holidays, this message is for you. If you are someone that does celebrate the worldly holidays, this message is not for you, but you are welcome to stick around. All right. So there's just like a few things, I just want to say to encourage you guys. The one thing is, I know sometimes this time of year can be a little frustrating because you're like, you want the heart of the people to turn to Yah and recognize that, the things that they are doing is pagan practices, and sometimes they're not asking the right questions. I don't want to say not asking the right questions, but they're not asking themselves the questions of why do I do this, and looking into the origins of things and stuff. And that can be frustrating sometimes, But the thing is, I want to say, remember where you came from. Okay, if you were someone that did do the worldly holidays, and what helped you open your eyes, what got you to where you are now, because your testimony is what will help other people. A lot of times we tend to ask the question like, I don't know why people still doing that. I don't know why people still doing that. Yeah, you do. Because if you once did it, think about the reasons why you did it. You're not the only one that has those same reasons, Basically, it's just a tradition. Some people, they think that that's the only thing they can find joy in. It's a comfort for them. Maybe it's memories that they don't want to let go of because they feel like if they don't do it anymore, they're not honoring their family members, or this people pleasing. Like there's so many reasons, and so we have to remember that. And it can literally be like tormenting. You can torment yourself by asking the same question that you literally know the answer to. The other thing I want to say is, think about how people learn. Okay, we are children in Yah's eyes. All right, and so I've worked with children in the past, and I'm back working with kids. Actually, I just never stopped working with them. I guess in a way, it just looks different. But one of the things is, children learn by doing. They learn by imitating. Yeah, they learn by imitating, and then they learn by like doing what their parent says, right? And the one thing about Yah is that he literally makes things so easy. And he's like, this is what you do, this is what you don't do, right? And the one thing is, when you speak to children, a lot of times we say, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. And we have to tell them what we want them to do. Like, actually give them the instruction, because when you give them the instruction, that's how you teach them. So if a child is standing on a chair, you don't, like saying, stop standing on the chair. Stop standing on the chair. You're expecting them to get off the chair. Instead of saying, put your feet on the floor, or get down off the chair to the floor. Like, you actually give them the command on what to do, so that way they have that direction on how to move forward. So how does that apply when we come to people about these pagan holidays? It's like, stop doing this, stop doing that, stop celebrating these pagan holidays, but no one's telling them what to do. And then you say, okay, celebrate the feast of Yah, right? And so it makes me wonder, those who are not celebrating, that do not celebrate pagan holidays, do you actually celebrate the feast of Yah? And if you do, that's a perfect opportunity to just normalize it. Do it and talk about it, And I'm speaking to myself as well, because this year was the first, the 2025 year was the first, half of the year, for the first time I was able to actually like learn more on a deeper level about the feast, because I've been learning years prior, but I was still a little like lost in understanding, but each year I would get a little lesson out of it, and this time I was able to fellowship with others and I have more of an understanding. And so, I did not go into depth into that, but that is something that I need to do myself, because hence why I'm sharing this with you guys. Yeah, because the thing is, it's like, it's insanity to keep telling people what to do. I mean, what not to do, and then just expecting them to do the opposite and not being filled up with the truth. When you get rid of a lie, right? When there's a lie uprooted out of you, truth has to fill that up. So what truth are we giving people to fill that up? We can't come halfway with the message, y'all. We cannot come halfway with a message. I think that was pretty much it. But if there's anything else that comes to your mind, okay. So remember when I explained about telling children what to do, right? So, working with kids for years, I knew that part, right? I knew that part. But then I recently saw this video on Instagram, and this is not someone I follow, it was just somebody random, can't remember their name. But she actually explained the why behind why we do that. And it was deeper than the response of, just giving them the command on what to do so that way they're able to be taught in the right direction. She said, when we tell them do not, they do not know. Like, we're expecting them to do the opposite, and they can't understand that concept. Now, as adults, we know the concept of opposites, right? Up, down, on, off. But when it comes to these holidays, right? A lot of people don't know what the opposite would be, even if you tell them to their face to do the feast days. And now that I say that out loud, you know why? It's because they were always told that the law was done away with. So there's no truth to fill them up with. It's like it's lie after lie after lie. So maybe that's why it's actually hard for them to come into the truth of Yah's feast days, because they're taught that the law is done away with and only Jewish people have to follow the law. That is so interesting. No wonder. Okay, now I gotta sit with that part. Yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to share that to encourage you guys and to help you on how to help others more, as we're all learning and navigating this thing. And I pray that Yah is the joy, that the joy of Yah is your strength. And I pray that you have a blessed day.